Edwin Lyle Fisher was my paternal grandfather. He died of heart failure at age 55, several months before my third birthday. My grandfather remained an enigma to me until I was in my early 40s. To this day, I have just one fleeting memory of him, standing alone in his backyard, sometime shortly before he died. That nebulous image is, curiously, one of my earliest childhood memories. Still, I can barely remember even thinking about him as a child. I grew up thinking that my grandfather was a government accountant. As an adult, I learned that he had actually been an attorney, not an accountant, and that from 1946 to 1958, he had served as the Solicitor General Counsel of the General Accounting Office, GAO, a legislative agency responsible for overseeing the massive spending of the federal government. At a family gathering in 2003, I told my Aunt Toots that I wanted to learn more about my long-deceased grandfather. She told me that she had found a box of family memorabilia in my grandparents' basement when my grandmother died in 1994, and she encouraged me to visit her any time to explore its contents. On the first weekend in November that year, I drove to my aunt and uncle's scenic waterfront home at the mouth of the Chesapeake Bay, just past Solomon's Island. That weekend, I learned just how little I knew about my grandfather. As I relaxed in their living room on Sunday morning, drinking coffee and reading the morning newspaper, my aunt placed a large cardboard shipping box on the carpet in front of me. I spent the rest of that morning digging through old photographs, college report cards, newspaper clippings, speeches, personal letters, job applications from the 1930s, official correspondences from congressmen, and invitations to state dinners at the White House. The most surprising find, however, was a formal appreciation letter from Allen Dulles, the Director of Central Intelligence, DCI, that had been presented to my grandfather on October 16, 1958, shortly after his retirement from the GAO. Holding the letter in both hands, I glanced up at the agency's old letterhead and down at Dulles's sinuous signature at the bottom. I then read the first sentence. Since you have recently retired at the end of a distinguished government career, it is appropriate that we express to you our appreciation of the guidance, understanding, and support you gave to this agency throughout its growing years. The rest of the letter introduced me to a side of my grandfather's professional life that I'd never heard anything about. Central Intelligence Agency, Washington, 25, D.C. Office of the Director, 16th of October, 1958. Mr. Edwin Lyle Fisher, 5122 Westling Lane, Bethesda 14, Maryland. Dear Mr. Fisher,